a beautiful land known for its tigers and its tides. The tigers are elusive, but the tides are unfailing, which is also why it is called Atharo Bhatir Desh, or the land of 18 tides. I'm talking about Sundarban, the mangrove forest in West Bengal, where the Ganga joins the Bay of Bengal, where there is no boundary to divide fresh water and salt water. Sundarban is the answer to the where of the puzzle I left you with at the end of the last episode. The who of the puzzle, the name of the author, is Amitav Ghosh, and the book is The Hungry Tide. It is a riveting saga where the mangroves are both the setting and as much of a living participant as the three principal characters: a scientist, a fisherman, and a translator. At the end of this episode, I will also tell you about a short read, which is an extension of this story. It is mind blowing in its concept and writing. Make sure you watch till the end. Let's switch on the reading lamp. Hello, I'm Asavari, and on this channel, I review books and talk about reading in general. Shall we have a look at the details of today's book?
Facts and figures.
The Hungry Tide is a fiction novel written by Amitav Ghosh. It was first published in India by HarperCollins in 2004. The book is 400 pages long. It's available in paperback, hardcover, and Kindle editions. You can find the link to buy the books on Amazon in the first pinned comment and in the description below the video. The audiobook version is available on both Audible as well as Storytel. Now let's talk about the actual contents of the book. But as you know, no spoilers, no worries. Just
The cover story.
the story of the Hungry Tide revolves around three protagonists: Piali Roy, a cetologist, a scientist studying river dolphins; Kanai Dutt, owner of a successful translation business; and Fokir, a humble fisherman who has a deep understanding of the mangroves. Piali or Pia, an American of Indian origin, comes to the Sundarban to study the Irrawaddy river dolphins. She hires a local fisherman, Fokir, who helps her to locate the dolphins in the remote pools and channels of the Sundarban. But even though both her parents were Bengalis, Pia cannot speak the language. She takes the help of Kanai Dutt, who's the owner of a successful translation business, to communicate with Fokir and other locals. She happens to meet Kanai on the train as she is making her way to Sundarban to look for the dolphins. Kanai is on his way to meet his aunt Nilima. Nilima, or Mashima, as she is known by everyone, has been living for decades on an island in Sundarban called Lucy Badi. She runs an NGO called the Badabon Trust. Her husband Nirmal Bose, a leftist and a retired school headmaster, has died a few years ago. But after all these years, she finds a mysterious package that seems to contain papers that he has left for Kanai. She asks Kanai to come down to Lucy Badi to find out what's inside. She doesn't want to open the package herself because it's addressed to Kanai, or take the risk of the papers getting lost in transit if she sends them by mail. The novel alternates between chapters that tell the story of Pia, Kanai, and Fokir, and the journal entries in the notebook of Kanai's uncle. Along with the human drama that takes place, the drama of the mangroves is equally important in the story. Let me tell you why I was consumed by the Hungry Tide.
Speaking my mind.
This is the first time that I have made such elaborate plans for reading a book. You'll be surprised to know, in fact, I'm mortified to admit this, that this is the first Amitav Ghosh book that I've read. Anyway, so when I made the plans to go to Sundarban, I made the plan to read The Hungry Tide. I bought the book and put it aside to read it while I was in Sundarban. I must tell you that it has turned out to be one of my more brilliant ideas. The Sundarban is an exotic, wildly beautiful landscape or waterscape. For the first 2 days, I just immersed myself in its atmosphere and experienced it firsthand. And then I opened the book. Once I got going, there was no stopping. These are my three reasons to read The Hungry Tide. First, the book tells you nearly everything about Sundarban: the geography, the history, the climate, flora and fauna, the folklore. Yes, some parts of the setting are fictitious, like the island of Lucy Badi. That doesn't exist. But it is a representative of the islands of Sundarban. Because I got the opportunity to explore Sundarban and spend days on its waters, I could appreciate how perfectly Amitav Ghosh has captured it with his words. He creates a picture that resonates with what I saw with my own eyes. Second, the gripping story and the characters. The beauty of Amitav Ghosh's writing is such that he is economical with his words, and yet you can't read them fast enough. There is so much happening that I was literally racing through the pages. All the characters seem completely true to life, and that is why they are all likable. There is conflict, but Amitav Ghosh manages to write from the perspective of each character, and you end up empathizing with all of them. The characterization in this book is one of the best I've ever read. 3. The impeccable research. Amitav Ghosh is well known for his scholarly, in depth research. In this book, you get to read about the Irrawaddy dolphins, Sundarban, its unpredictable and tumultuous climate, the Morijjapi massacre, the legend of Bono Bibi and her brother Shah Jongoli, and much more. That brings me to the bonus read. In Sundarban, you will find shrines to Bono Bibi on all the islands. What makes them even more unique is that people of all faiths and tribes worship her. She is the deity who protects the people of Sundarban, especially from the shape shifting Dokhin Rai, who stalks and kills people in the form of a tiger. A popular folk tale says Dukhe, a poor boy, is duped by a rich merchant called Dhona and left as an offering to Dokhin Rai in exchange for riches from the forest, honey and wax. Dukhe prays to Bono Bibi, who saves him from the tiger and sends him back home riding a crocodile laden with riches. The telling of this story has a significance in The Hungry Tide. In 2021, HarperCollins published Jungle Nama by Amitav Ghosh, a book of just 88 pages that exclusively tells the story of Dukhe, which is a part of the legend of Bono Bibi and an important part of The Hungry Tide. Jungle Nama is written in poetry format. The original poem is in Bengali and has been passed down by oral tradition for generations. It is composed in Dvipodi Poyar, or a meter consisting of rhyming couplets of 24 syllables. While this book is not a translation, it is a free retelling of the poem. What makes it so interesting is that Amitav Ghosh has written it in English, in poetry, in Dvipodi Poyar, the same meter as the original Bengali composition. I cannot tell you how floored I am by the sheer brilliance of this man. There is more. The illustrations in the book are by the famous artist Salman Toor. The audiobook has been set to music and recited, sung by Ali Sethi. You may remember him for his famous song Pasuri. Read The Hungry Tide and listen to Jungle Nama. It's an unbelievable combination. I'm going to read a quote from The Hungry Tide that blew my mind because it's a fact that I never really thought about.
Quote unquote.
The reference to the quote is that Mashima is talking about the difference between those who work diligently but quietly against those who speak eloquently about what they want to do but may not necessarily do much of value. She says, Kanai, the dreamers have everyone to speak for them. But those who are patient, those who try to be strong, who try to build things, no one ever sees any poetry in that, do they? I was struck by the truth of these words. How many people do we know in our lives who work quietly in the background? And that's why They remain unseen, even though what they do should speak for them. Now it's time for the Linescape rating of today's book.
LINEDSCAPE Rating.
If I had to give this book marks, it would be a perfect 10 on every score. This one undoubtedly deserves 5 stars in my opinion. Excessive? Maybe. But reading a book is an emotional business anyway, and how you feel about it is purely subjective. This book is a perfect 5 star for me. And now it's time to put my thoughts.
In a nutshell,
The Hungry Tide by Amitav Ghosh and its offshoot Jungle Nama are both amazing works. I recommend reading The Hungry Tide for its beautiful representation of Sundarban and its gripping story, and Jungle Nama for the unique concept, the brilliance of Amitav Ghosh's poetry, and the moving illustrations by Salman Toor. I also recommend listening to the audiobook of Jungle Nama for the musical rendition by the talented Ali Sethi. I'm happy to have started 2025 with a beautiful book that will stay with me for a very long time. I wish you all a very happy new year filled with books that will enrich your reading life. Before I go, remember I upload a fresh episode every week. If you liked this episode, please give me a thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button and the notification bell icon so you never miss an episode. And please share with your friends and family. The more, the merrier. This is Asavri signing off for now. And until the next time, have fun under the reading lamp. Switch on, read on.